Hi folks, this is Kareem Raouf from Audiovisual Outdoor channel. We will continue our lab, the Terminator lab. This is the video number 13. We have been discussing in the previous video the following. We have created a virtual machine that contains or installed on it Windows Server 2022 operating system. We prepared or we have promoted this server to be an additional domain controller. Okay, before promoting it to be an additional domain controller, we have already two network cards attached to this virtual machine. We make network teaming between them, and then after that we have set the IP address and DNS servers and gateway, and change the name of the server and enable remote desktop options. Okay, so we can access this server remotely, and disable IE enhanced security setting just to when we open an page on the Internet Explorer, it doesn't give us a security error or security warning. Okay, so we have done all of this in the previous video. We have already a virtual machine up and running. We have Windows Server 2022 installed on it. This server is additional domain controller. Today we need to migrate our primary domain controller, which have Windows Server 2012 R2 on it. We need it to be migrated from Windows Server 2012 R2 to this virtual machine that contains Windows Server Datacenter 2022. We will do this by something called transferring of FISMO roles. Okay, we will do this using a script. So today we need to discuss how we will do this migration, but before that we need to focus on some points, because we are not only migrating our primary domain controller. This primary domain controller contains a lot of things. It's not only a primary domain controller, it contains some shared folders we need to focus on, or we need to move it to the, or migrate it as well to the Windows Server 2022 server or virtual machine. Okay, let's have a look, or let me show you all what I mean by that. So if we go there, this is our server, okay, which is our primary domain controller. This is the IP address. We need to be migrated to this server, okay, which is 192.168.1.8. So we need to do this migration process. But before that, we need to have a look on the server. This server, okay, it's a network teamed card. Okay, this is the setting of the network connection, or the network setting. We have the IP address, we have the subnet mask, we have the default gateway, we have the preferred DNS, we have the alternative DNS. Okay, just focus on these two. On this server we have a folder named backgrounds, which is shared. Okay, in this folder, just a moment, in this folder we have some photos or some GPGs which will act as the desktop background for all of our servers and our workstations in the domain. And also this folder, shared folder, contains some registry keys which uh, should be implemented on every user logging in to any workstation or server in the domain. These registry keys will be applied using a login script, okay, that will be applied to every user logging into the domain. It is an Active Directory login script. Okay, so this Active Directory login script, it is also on another shared folder called netlogin. It will go and access the background shared folders to access the registry keys and apply to the users. So this is one part, or this is how the registry keys will be applied. As for the backgrounds, it will be applied to all of the users in the domain, or all of the workstations and servers in the domain, using a group policy. So the group policy will point, or will go to this shared folder and see the background pictures or photos and apply it to the users. So this is one part, and these GPGs are in this shared folder, and these registry keys are also in this shared folder. So we need to migrate this folder from this old domain controller to our new domain controller, okay, or our new PDC. We will do this. Okay, so we need to migrate this shared folder to the new PDC. Okay, and this shared folder will be renamed. So we will not move it as backgrounds and share it as backgrounds. We will move it, or we will copy it to the new PDC and rename it to C or to make it as backgrounds 2. I will show you a picture of that. But anyway, this is the whole situation on the server. So we use a script to migrate this folder and share it again with a different name. This is number one. And then we will use a script called Roles that will migrate or will change the primary domain controller to be not on this old server, but to be on the new server that has Windows Server 2022 Data Center installed on it. Okay, so let's have a look on the new situation. Here we will have our new PDC that will have Windows Server 2022, and this is the IP address, and then this is the network connection setting of the new server. Okay, we have two cards or network cards are teamed. This will be the setting. This is the IP address, the subnet mask, the default gateway. The preferred DNS will be this primary domain controller IP address, and the alternative DNS is 1.7, which is the additional domain controller. This is the one will be the additional domain controller that will have Windows Server 2012 R2 installed on it. Later we will demote this server and make another server that will be an additional domain controller and have also Windows Server 2022 installed on it. So this will be the case. This will be the new server, and the folder which is named backgrounds here, it will be moved to the new domain controller. It will be shared under a different name. The same registry keys will be copied, the same backgrounds will be copied, the group policies also will apply. So we need to change the group policy to point to the new shared folders that contains the backgrounds and group policies. This will be done also using a script. So the script will do all of it. This script or background script will move the folder with all of its content, and it will edit the group policy, or it will import a group policy that will point to the new shared folder, okay, on the new PDC. Okay, so this is what will happen, and then we can see that the same or the Active Directory login script will point to the same registry key. And by the way, we need to apply a script called NTP server script. This will set external NTP servers for the new PDC. We all remember and know that our old PDC has external NTP servers which it point to it. So after migrating this PDC to our new PDC here, or our new server, we will demote this server. So we will have or the NTP external servers will not be valid anymore, or the new server here doesn't point to any NTP servers. So we need to tell him to point to the same NTP servers that our old PDC is pointing to. So we need to do this. Okay, so we need to do this. This is basically what we do. We need to, here what we need to do, we need to use two scripts. One, to copy the background folder, okay, all of its content and the group policy, and share them again under a different name on the new PDC, okay, and make the group policy point to the new shared folder, okay, and the roles that will migrate the PDC from the Windows Server 2012 R2 to the Windows Server 2022. Let's see here what we are talking about. We need to migrate roles and migrate also background shared folder that contains Windows desktop backgrounds for all servers or workstations and registry keys. So this is the folder contains two. The registry keys are used by the Active Directory login script, okay, to apply to the users. So the Active Directory login script is pointing to, or it gets its registry key from this shared folder. So if this location is changed or not available anymore, it will not be able to access the registry keys. Okay, so this will be done using these two scripts, and then after migrating the server and everything is under a different name and different things, so this folder will be copied and shared under a different name with the same permissions and everything will be done, and then we will run the NTP server script to set the external NTP servers. Okay, so this is one thing. And remember that after changing the PDC to be from one server to another server, so the old PDC was 192.168.1.6. This will be the new one, 192.168.1.8. So we need to do a couple of things on all of the servers. First of all, we need to go to the additional domain controller and change the network setting to have its preferred DNS to point to the new PDC, which is 1.8. Okay, so this is still our additional domain controller, but before that, its network setting was using the preferred DNS as 192.168.1.6, the old PDC. So we need to change it to point to the new PDC. Okay, so this is one thing we need to change this on all of the servers. We need to go also to our new PDC. This we will do it. We will point. It will point, or its prepared DNS will be itself, and then it will point to the alternative DNS to this server. Okay, so at last, this is the server or the old PDC. We need to demote it, okay? But before demoting it, we need to change its preferred DNS from pointing to itself to point to the new PDC, and the alternative DNS, it will point to the additional domain controller. So after doing this, we can demote this server without any problem, okay? Because uh, none of the servers are depending on it to resolve uh, queries concerning the DNS. All of it, or all of them, are pointing to the new PDC DNS or primary DNS and to the additional DNS. Okay, and we need also to take care that DHCP is distributing the primary domain controller IP address or primary DNS and secondary DNS. We need to change it to point to the new PDC, which is the primary DNS now 192.168.1.8, and the ADC or the additional domain controller and additional DNS 192.168.1.7. So this we need to take care. Okay, we need to go there and change the DHCP scope or the scope setting. Okay, and here we can see all domain controllers should use 192.168.1.8 as the PDC and 192.168.1.7 as the ADC, so we can demote the old PDC safely. And do not forget to raise the forest and domain functional level, the Active Directory forest level and the domain or Active Directory domain functional level after all Windows 2012 R2 are removed from the domain. This is also one thing we need to focus on. So let's see the scripts. This is the background script. I will let you all have a look on it, and the Vismo role script and the script to set the NTP or external servers. Let's go and see. So this script, we will use it to transfer the Vismo roles from the old PDC to the new PDC. This is to query, or this first line is to query the Active Directory to define or to give us who is currently holding the Vismo roles. Okay, so if we do this or we run this command, it will tell us that this server, let me show you all that. This server is currently holding the Vismo roles. Okay, after migrating it to this new server, if we run the same command, it will tell us that the one that is holding now the Vismo roles is this server and this IP address. Okay, so we need to first query and see who is holding the Vismo roles, and after we are sure that our old PDC is the only one that is responsible or is holding these roles, we now can move these roles to the new PDC DC0122, and these are the Vismo roles. Okay, domain naming master, PDC emulator, read master, schema master, infrastructure master. You can go to ChatGPT or to go to Google Bard AI and ask a question about what does these roles do, or what are its function. You can Google it also to know. Okay, so this is the script. We'll use it to migrate the Vismo roles. So after this is done, we need to migrate the background. Here we have seen we need to move this background folder and share it again, okay, on the new server. Okay, so what we will do, this will be done using a script. This script, what it will do, first of all, we need to install something called NTFS security module. This module, our PowerShell module, will help us to set NTFS permissions on the backgrounds folder. Okay, so this is, we need to install it. It will go and download and then install it and then import the PowerShell commands to the session that we are currently use. Okay, to import it to the PowerShell so we can implement the script. So it will go download the module, install the module, and then import the module to the PowerShell so we can use or continue using the script. Okay, then it will go to a batch file called robocopybatch.bat. This batch file, it will copy, what will do, it will copy the background's old folder from the old PDC to the D folder on our new PDC. Okay, so it will go to the shared folder on the old PDC, copy the backgrounds folder, and copy it to the local D partition or on the new PDC. Okay, and it will copy the login batch from so I have on my PDC, my new PDC, I have the login batch or the Active Directory login batch. Okay, but it is edited to point to the new backgrounds folder. We all know that the backgrounds folder contain the registry keys that the login or the Active Directory login batch will go and implement it. So I am having it already edited and have a copy of it on my D local hard disk of my new PDC. It will copy it and put it to the net login shared folder on my new PDC. Okay, or on all or the net login folder on my new PDC. Okay, so this is it. It will copy it, and then after that it will rename. So after copying the backgrounds folder, it will rename it to be backgrounds 2, and then it will share it, share permissions, and grant domain users read permission on it, and then it will grant the IT, okay, the Skynet HQ admins. It will have it full control over the backgrounds 2 folder, and then it will remove everyone. This is a default group. If you share any folder, the everyone group, it is there, so we need to remove it because this is as a best practice. We do not need to give everyone read permission on any shared folder in our network. This should be removed. Okay, everyone, it will include users from inside the network or outside the network, okay, or inside the domain or outside the domain, especially the domain. So we don't need to do this. We need only the domain users to have, or the users inside the domain to have control or to have read permissions on the folder. And again, this is the SMB share permissions. And then we will use the ntfs command uh, uh, that is downloaded from this PowerShell module to give domain users read and execute, read and list directory. This is the NTFS permission, and the IT group to have full control. So these two permissions are exactly the same as the SMB share permissions, just to make sure that we have full control over the folder when it is shared on the network, and full control when it is outside the network, okay, or local. Okay, then these are some group policies. These group policies that point to the desktop backgrounds. Okay, we all know that the desktop backgrounds are in the old backgrounds folder. So now this folder is its name is changed to background 2. So the group policies should be alerted, or it will be modified to point to the new backgrounds 2 folder that contains the desktop backgrounds. Okay, so this is the background script. This is the robocopy batch, we have seen it, and this is the Fismo transfer script, and at the end this is the NTP script. Here we will run this on the new PDC after it is migrated, okay, and tell him to set these two NTP servers are as our external NTP servers. Okay, we will run this so these are the two servers. We will run a utility or a command that will set these two servers as an external NTP servers, and at the end I think we will restart the Windows time service, so everything will come back to order. Anyway, this is a very simple script to set external NTP servers for our new PDC to sync its time with. So these are the 3 or 4 scripts that we will use in our lab. I have shown you all what it depends on, so we can see the graph. We can see what will happen exactly, okay, in our video. So this is a theoretical explaining of the scripts. In the practical one, we will begin implementing all what we have discussed now. So we need to migrate the PDC with all of its shared folders, okay, and if there is any group policies pointing to these shared folders, it need to be alerted or need to be modified. This we will do it doing the same script. Okay, so this script contains group policies that are already made and alerted before, and change it to point to the new background folders, which is backgrounds folder 2. Okay, so this will be done using one script. We have discussed this script in details. Okay, so it will be a very simple operation. It contains a lot of things, actually, I know, and one of also the things we need to make sure that our preferred DNS and alternative DNS on all of the servers are the same, and the DHCP scope should be alerted to point to the new PDC, and the forest functional level and the domain functional level also we need to take care to raise it after these two servers are removed from the network. So this is basically what we will do in the upcoming video. This is theoretically. The upcoming video will be the practical part of this video. Hope this video is informative for you all, and thank you all for viewing. Thank you so much.